What's up, guys? How are you? How is life with you? How is everything going? Are you okay? Did you eat? Did you sleep well? Or are you still worrying about things? Well, you know what channel this is. This is called A Dash of Colors. My name is Mimi, and this channel is dedicated to your personal growth. If you're a consistent listener, thank you so much for tuning in always. I am so grateful for the support. And if this is your first time listening, welcome to our safe zone, and I am glad to have your audience. Please do not forget to subscribe so you can get the notifications on Wednesdays and on Fridays when I upload episodes. So today I'm sharing a rather uninteresting topic to me, really. And I personally decided that I would do less podcasts on relationships because I do not want people to assume my podcast on relationships is always about my personal relationships. But I had this conversation with someone earlier, and I felt like I really needed to address this because I feel like it's very common for people who are in relationships, and I would call this learn to fight right. You know, people in relationships fail to understand that having misunderstandings and then fighting with someone you are in a relationship with is not really a bad thing. And then I have met people who would rather avoid having fights in relationships. And really, I think that doesn't make any sense because you are trying to get to know someone, and you shouldn't be interested in just the good parts. You should also be interested in the parts that need to be worked on as well. So if you're going to avoid conflict, you are really not getting to know your partner. So it is completely okay to fight. It is completely okay to disagree. And it is completely okay to have mental breakdowns because you are individuals, and that means you come from different backgrounds, you come from different experiences, and people that you're in relationships with should actually give you benefit of doubt, except of course you're dating someone who is rather sensitive, or that's the word, insensitive. So how do you fight right? Now that we understand that fighting is common, it is okay to disagree, how exactly are we supposed to make this a little bit easier and less hurtful? And the first thing I would say is understand your partner. Have conversations about the main reason for the disagreement. People are always caught up in the emotions of the moment and at how displeased they feel about something someone they are with had already done, and most times we're really not open to talk about how that particular thing affects us and how we feel about every single thing that is going on. And as a result, we end up building lots of hate and lots of hurtful emotions right in our heart. So the right thing to do if you're having misunderstanding with your partner or a potential partner, the right thing to do is to actually call quits to the whole fight. And the best way to start is to talk about it. Try and have conversations. Who feels hurt? Why is the person triggered? Why is the person hurting? You should allow the person to speak and explain why whatever thing that was done made them feel the way it did. And guys, listening is not to respond. Listening is to understand. You're not listening to find faults and pick out more fights. You're listening to understand the grievance and to find a common ground to negotiate whatever thing that had already gone wrong. So that is my first tip. The second thing is really stop allowing emotions get into it. I know, yes, that when fights happen, usually we are stuck in our own heads, and then we feel so disappointed and we're hurting so much. But do not overdo it. Understand that you are fighting a partner, not an enemy. And partners are supposed to be two people with common goals fighting for one vision. So if there is a disagreement, you shouldn't allow your emotions get in so much that you are willing to throw away the bigger picture for the temporal feelings that you have. Okay? And one of the ways that I have done this is usually when I feel hurt by something someone I am dating does, I try to apologize first. And don't get me wrong, even if I'm wrong or right, I do that and then it might seem a little awkward. But to me, I'm actually doing it because I have thought myself that the person who apologizes first is the better person. And I am not apologizing to shun the partner up, of course not. I'm doing that because I want to come at peace with the situation. So I usually just apologize first of all, but I already said that the first thing you need to do is to talk about it. Why are we having a misunderstanding? And the second thing is do not allow your emotions get into whatever thing that is going on. Try to think about it with a clear head. If you need some break and some time, you should actually take that off. But you should let your partner know that you're taking some time to cool off. Don't just close the door and then make the person feel even more miserable. Okay, so the next thing I would say is put love first before every other thing. I know that at some point when you're disappointed at someone and then you're probably feeling every other kind of feeling except love, and that is the reason why most of us have taken very awkward decisions at the end of the day and lost our relationships because we decided to choose every other fleeting emotions than the actual reason we're with the person, which is that we love and appreciate the person. Love is kind. Love oversees a lot of wrongs. So you should be willing to allow love speak in a situation where it seems like conflict had taken over. So that way, if you're dealing with someone in love or with love, you're willing to fix things. Okay? So the next tip I'll share is forget the blame, focus on responsibility. So people are hell-bent on when they eventually have conversations about why they are having fights, the other person, or there is always that person who is trying to apportion blames, trying to blame the other person for doing this or doing that. But in as much as the person might be wrong, the truth is most times we are just as wrong as well. So instead of focusing on who to blame, try to focus on taking responsibility for how you reacted to that particular conflict as well. So that way you know that, oh, okay, I was wrong. I shouldn't have said this. I shouldn't have reacted this way. And then we need to apologize for that as well. So if you understand that the focus is not on blaming your partner for misbehaving, the focus is on taking responsibility for acting out based on what the person had done to you. So another thing I would say is trash your ego, guys. Ego is horrible, and if you're in a relationship and you're still egoistic and you're so proud, chances are you'd never have a very good relationship, because really there's no point waiting around to be called first. There's no point waiting around to be texted first. Be the better person. Like, teach your partner how to love you sometimes. If you feel like a conflict had taken a shape that you're not comfortable with, you should actually tame your ego and address it. Okay? So the final tip that I will talk about briefly is embrace change. Be ready for change. If you've done everything you can to fix the conflict in question, if you've done everything you can to make sure that you get back with your partner and it didn't work, guys, be open to change. And if at the end of the day it leads to any kind of it leads to a breakup or whatever thing, and it makes you, the decision makes you uncomfortable, I understand that it might hurt, but be ready for change. So you've addressed the issue, and it seems like you can't seem to find a common ground with your partner. Be ready to embrace whatever thing that happens at the end of the conversation or at the end of the conflict resolution. So guys, these are all the tips that I wanted to share from you. These are tips from personal experience and from actually reading about this topic. And I feel like, yes, these are the proper ways to handle fights in relationships, whether you're married, whether you're still single, and whether you're dating someone and you're very committed to the person. I feel like these are the proper ways to actually fight right with our partners. If you'd like to add anything, you can always send me an email, and I'll be willing and so glad to read your email during the next episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed to the Telegram community, the link is in the description of this podcast. Please subscribe so that you can get my daily tips on how to keep working on your goals every other day. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Mimi, and this is A Dash of Colors.